Good day, everyone. This is Mark Schmidt, Superintendent of Schools for Staples Motley, with an update regarding Monday night's board meeting, Monday, April 22nd, 2013. We'll change the format of these updates in a little bit, by a little bit. One way is maybe to give a little more detail on the highlights or to provide some more highlights within the email or Facebook text version of them as well. So people, if they want a quicker glance, they can be able to do that. And then maybe not necessarily go through uh, each agenda item, but maybe hit the ones that would perhaps be more of interest to people. So, for example, maybe on this one, I'm not really going to talk about the board seeking permission to seek bids for dairy products and bread because, for the most part, people aren't too curious about that. So, those are two changes you're going to see. The board agenda on Monday night, I'll first off by saying it was a long evening. Uh, the main item within that evening was to go through budget cuts, and I'm certainly not going to go through the list here. I believe each of the department heads have done that, and within the public, the newspaper will be having highlights of that. But there was much discussion on that, which there should be. Maybe within that, it was suggested to me that highlight a change within custodians, which is a structural change. Some of it is a budget cut item, but certainly a needed structural change. What we've done is we've taken our head custodians and changed their responsibilities to mainly pulling back on their maintenance responsibilities, and we have used some of those dollars to then go out and post for a head, or I'm sorry, not a head, a half-time maintenance person. Reality is we had a number of maintenance items in our district that either weren't getting completed or weren't getting completed in a timely fashion, and we needed to structurally make that change. And I know it affected namely our head custodians financially and in a negative way. However, the reason for that is just we have maintenance items in our district that weren't getting done, and that needed to happen. So that was really a systematic structural change within that. And I know there's been a lot of questions on that and why we're out posting for a halftime position for maintenance, and that's the reason why. Within that, we've done a number of budget reductions items, and I tried to, for the most part, been able to keep class sizes without being affected. For the most part, being able to keep programs without being affected. There have been some newer staff members that are adversely affected with that. We've done some proverbial robbing Peter to pay Paul by tapping into some of our deferred maintenance items and capital expenditures, at least on a short-term or next year basis. So that we could maintain programs and personnel. Speaking of personnel, if we go on to that section of the agenda, as you may know, Jim Christopherson, our Heads Buildings and Grounds Director, is retiring. We reviewed the responsibilities of that, and in the spirit of attempting to save budgets and take on some more responsibility amongst the principals, myself, and the business manager, we've reduced that from a grade 17 to a grade 15, and by pulling some of those responsibilities out of that duty and shifting that onto those individuals I had mentioned. With that, on that note, we'd like to congratulate Leroy Peterson, who's going to be replacing for Jim Christopherson. We interviewed last week for that, and Leroy clearly came out on top of that position. And Leroy's done such an excellent job for this district over the many years, and I have no doubt that he's going to continue to excel in this new role. That then leaves an opening for Leroy's position, which is going to be head maintenance, and then that other half-time additional position that I had talked about earlier. So if you know anyone, that's kind of that handyman and that can fix many items and have experience in that, please encourage them to apply as we're going through that process now. We've accepted the board that night accepted a number of retirements, a number of excellent people within our school district. Looking at the names, it's certainly sad to see them leave. However, we're grateful for everything they've done and grateful for their future. We've got Lisa Kyer, who's retiring, Elena Thede, who's retiring, Sue Adams out of Motley Art, who's retiring, Judy Bielka, who's retiring. Certainly individuals that have just contributed a great deal to all of our children. Jennifer Strom, who's been just a phenomenal science teacher at the middle school, has been recalled back to her hometown of Long Prairie and to work in that district. So certainly sorry to see Jennifer leave, but certainly understand for her to go back to a closer work environment for her. Chris Kapler is going to be adjusted from a 0.85 to a 1.0, so we're pleased to get Chris full-time into our district. Chris's middle school Phi Ed does a number of coaching duties for us, so certainly glad to see that with Chris. I had mentioned Leroy Peterson. Tanya Judd is going to be a face maybe familiar to many people. She has been hired to replace Nancy Peterson at Staples Elementary as the head secretary over there. The board then posted for a number of these positions. Then the board moved to, unfortunately, some probationary teachers that are not being renewed or not renewed at the present rate they have been. Ethan Black is going to be a 0.5 and Travis Van Overbeek is 0.67. And then a non-renewal for Eric Pesta. So we certainly wish, sorry to hear the part-time people, and wished Erica the best in her job pursuit. Beyond that, the board had approved when's the last day of school has been asked. The board on Monday night had approved, right now the last day of school would be on a Monday. So we'd ask staff and students to come back on a Monday, which doesn't seem very realistic. In the past, the district has not had people come back on that day. Just had one less student day for the year, and then the staff came back the following fall as an extra workshop day. So there'd be 3 workshop days preceding the school year. Wasn't an issue in the past. The board did approve that. However, Jerry Reck had voiced some concerns about it from the standpoint of the Teachers Association, and we have not heard back from Jerry or the Teachers Association if that is allowed. So that may be a limiting factor in that. At this point, we still don't know when that last day of school is. Unfortunately, you say in the past it wasn't an issue, but for some reason it is an issue this year. But if we don't hear soon from the union, then I guess we'd have to expect people to come back on that last day of school. With that, number of reports, and reports were very short and brief. By now it was I think about 10 to 10 at night, and people gave some quick reports, and we moved on. Thank you for your time and attention, and I think spring is finally here as I give this report. Take care, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of the school year. Bye.